I tend to find myself falling into comfort zones when it comes to character design, as well as other art subjects in general. I'll draw what I'm used to creating, often avoiding what I'm less confident in. However, I observe that when I study drawing these subjects that I often avoid subconsciously, it helps to build that confidence and improves the overall quality of what I was already fairly comfortable with designing. This quick video will talk about armour. Drawing armour on characters is something I haven't really studied up until now. It's extra shapes overlapping each other that need to be added onto the body, positioned at different angles, and there's a lot of thought that needs to go into it, especially when you need to know how to develop it further for character design. But it's something that I want to get better at. So I firstly did a couple of studies observing how armour is roughly placed on the body. It's not going to be perfect, but I just need to understand how it roughly works, so I then can be more creative with the character design part. I do some quick study drawings, really trying to not focus on detail, more on pose and how the armour kind of fits around each subject. I always look for shape language when studying references, as this helps me to figure out how to simplify the subject for drawing, such as using basic shapes to map out the main areas of interest. I do a couple of other studies, a bit more characterised this time, really observing how the armour sits on the shoulders and arms, especially the elbow part, which is something I'm still struggling with, more when you need to draw it at different angles and figuring out how it needs to bend with the body. Quick side note, I've also been trying to get better at understanding how to draw clothing folds, how the lines usually stem from the area of tension, and how that can be used as a general diving off point, which is a tip that's really helped recently. Still a long way to go on that subject. I'll try and maybe do another video on that in the future. I then decide to attempt designing my own armoured character, so I create this character sheet showcasing some quick sketch ideas I had, stemming from all the references and observations that I had studied. To make it a bit more creative, I added the prompt of ink and quills as an inspiration for the armour. Using visual prompts like this usually helps me to be a bit more inventive with what I design, and it gives me a good starting off point with what kind of shapes I could then use. I decided to go forward with this particular one, mostly because I like the shape language of it. I then do another thing which I always try to improve on, which is making a character pose sheet, challenging me to draw this armour at different angles while keeping the energy and emotion of this character. The end result turned out better than I thought it would. It's not perfect, there's definitely some areas that could be improved on with the armour and the proportions. However, I was really pleased with how my shape language turned out. The poses have a nice energy and character to them. I still need to work on drawing armour and clothing in general, but I feel having this extra challenge on top sort of forced me to really think back to fundamentals and breaking up poses into basic shapes in order to make it easier to draw the armour, which in turn helped me to level up my character posing skills. I then decided to take it a step further and design some artwork featuring this character. Since the theme is ink and quills, I thought this would be a character who loved books, which helped formulate this scenario that they're supposed to be on guard duty in this massive library, but is constantly getting distracted by all the books and scrolls. Creating these detailed artworks can be a little overwhelming, so I make sure I break it down into small steps and prioritise the most important aspect to me, which is storytelling. In conclusion, I still have a lot to learn on this particular subject, but I'll take it one step at a time and try to draw more subjects I don't often draw. Thank you for checking out the video, and I'm looking forward to sharing more in future.